Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this stitch pattern here that has stitches worked throughout it to create this sort of zigzag effect. So the side that I've been showing you is technically the front of the work and this is the back, but you can see it looks great on both sides, so I would say it's completely reversible. It ends up making a thick textured piece, so I think it's a great stitch to be used for scarves or blankets or even a dishcloth or really anything that you'd like. And for this tutorial, I used a basic 4-weight acrylic yarn and a 5mm crochet hook, but you can use any type and size of yarn and hook size that you'd like. So to get started, we're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain any multiple of 6 plus 4. So 24 is my multiple of 6, and I'm going to add an additional 4 chains to get me to 28 chains. For row 1, we're going to start by skipping the first 3 chains, and we're going to double crochet into the 4th chain. And then we're going to jump to the next chain and double crochet into each remaining chain all the way across. And to finish off row 1, we want to chain 1 and turn our work. And that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Alternatively, you can also do a chain 2 there instead of a chain 1. We are going to be double crocheting back into that first stitch, and I know some people prefer to chain 2 there just to give it a little bit of height, but whatever works for you. So we're going to go into the first 2 stitches with a double crochet. So there's 1 and 2, and then we want to skip 2 stitches, so skip, and we want to triple crochet or treble crochet, whatever you call it, into the next 2 stitches after those 2 skip stitches. So to do a triple crochet, we yarn over 2 times, again skip those next 2 stitches, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And that was the first triple crochet. We'll jump to the next stitch and do our second triple crochet. And then we want to do 2 triple crochets into the 2 stitches that we just skipped. And we want those 2 triple crochets to be behind the 2 that we just made. So again, we start by yarning over the hook 2 times, and I bring my hook behind those 2 stitches that we just made and through to the front, finding that first skip stitch. I'm going to place my hook right into that stitch, and at this point I kind of fold over the work and look at the top, and then we complete our triple crochet. And that ensures that that stitch is behind those 2 triple crochets that we just made. And then we're going to do the next one. So all I do is look for that very next stitch or that V that's right next to the triple crochet that we just made. If you're having trouble, you can fold it back over and do the same thing by looking at it from the front. But if you're looking at it from the top here, you just find that next stitch or the next V and do your triple crochet into that stitch. And then looking at it from the front again, we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So going to that very next unworked stitch and doing our first double crochet and double crocheting into the next stitch. Again, we skip the next 2 stitches, skip, skip, triple crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then we want to work 2 triple crochets into the 2 skip stitches behind the 2 that we just made, bringing our hook to the back, back through to the front, finding that first stitch, going right into it, and then I fold my work here, so I'm looking at the top, completing my first of the 2 triple crochets, jumping to that very next stitch that's right next to the one we just did, making sure it's that V on top of our hook, and completing our triple crochet. Looking at it from the front, and again we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches, and that's the repeat all the way across for row 2. And your final 2 double crochets should be into the final 2 stitches of the row, with the last one being into the top of that chain 3 that we skipped at the very beginning that counted as a double crochet. Again, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And going on to row 3, which will be the first row of the 2-row repeat for the majority of this pattern, we're going to start by double crocheting into the first 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. And again, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So skip, skip, and do our triple crochet into the next 2 stitches. And again, we're going to place 2 triple crochets into the 2 stitches that we skipped, but instead of going behind them like we did for the previous row, we want to go in front of those 2 stitches. So bring your hook down into that first stitch that we skipped, and we don't want to complete it at this point. We want to get it so it's just that stitch on top of our hook. So I bring my hook back until it's just that stitch or that V on top of my hook, and then complete my triple crochet. Again, we're going to do the next skip stitch, placing a triple crochet into it, placing my hook all the way through, and then bringing it back until it's just that stitch on top of my hook, and completing my triple crochet. And then looking at the front, we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. I'll show you again. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, skip, skip, triple crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to triple crochet into the 2 stitches that we skipped, working them in front of these 2. Bringing our hook down in front, through that stitch, I push it all the way through and then bring it back until I catch just that stitch on my hook or that V, and complete my triple crochet. And feel free to find different ways to hold this to make it easier for you. This is just what works for me. So again, I'm going to triple crochet into that next skip stitch, bringing my hook back until I catch that stitch on top of my hook, and completing my triple crochet, and then double crocheting into the next 2 stitches. And that's what I'm going to repeat all the way across for row 3. And again, your last 2 double crochets should have fallen into those final 2 stitches. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And row 4, which is the second row of the 2-row repeat, we're going to start by double crocheting into the first 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Skipping the next 2 stitches, skip, skip, triple crocheting into the next 2 stitches. And on the previous row, we worked those 2 triple crochets into the skip stitches in front of the previous 2 triple crochets. On this row, we want them to be behind. Again, bringing our hook behind those 2 stitches, coming out to the front and into that first skip stitch, and then I fold my work and complete my triple crochet. Again, find that next stitch or look for that next V that's right next to the triple crochet you just did, and complete your second one into that stitch. Place your work so you're looking at the front, and we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Skip the next 2 stitches, skip, skip, triple crochet into the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to work the next 2 triple crochets behind these 2 into the 2 skip stitches. Again, placing my hook through that first one, folding my work, and completing my stitch. So there's 1, jumping to that next one, finding that next V, getting it on top of my hook, and triple crocheting into it. Looking at the front of the work, I'm going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So you can see at this point, looking at it, it's creating a sort of zigzag pattern. And that's why going forward, we're going to alternate between row 3, where we did those 2 triple crochets into the skip stitches in front of the 2 triple crochets, and row 4, where we're doing the triple crochets into the skip stitches behind the previous 2 triple crochets. And alternating is going to give it this kind of zigzag look. So I'm going to work this across until I get to the end here. And at the end of row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we're just going to keep alternating between row 3 and row 4 until the piece is as big as you'd like, keeping in mind there will be an additional row of double crochets. So feel free to rewind the video, which is time-stamped, if you need to see how to work those rows again. All right, I built up a couple more rows just so you can see how it's looking. I just finished row 10 in case you're interested. And going on to the next row, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and double crochet into each stitch all the way across. And after completing the final row of double crochets, you can fasten off at this point, or you can chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to go around the piece with a round of single crochets to clean up the edges. So single crochet across until the corner stitch. And we're going to place 3 single crochets all into that corner stitch. And then we're going to evenly space single crochets down this side of the work. There are no even stitches here to go into, so just plan to place 2 single crochets at the end of each row by inserting your hook wherever it will fit. And again, just work single crochets around, placing 3 single crochets into each of the corner stitches until you get back to where you started. And when you've made your way back around, we're going to place 2 single crochets into the same stitch that the first single crochet of the round is in. And then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, we're going to fasten off. So to fasten off, I chain 1, cut my yarn, and pull that yarn through. And we're all fastened off. And now it's time to sew in our ends. that's it. I hope you love what you came up with, and please do subscribe to my channel. The support is greatly appreciated, and like this tutorial if you found it helpful. I'll otherwise see you in my next video. Bye!